Ladies and germs, is it on? Am I looking at something? Oh boy. Hold on, it should be streaming now. I'm not sure what's going on here. Oh, it says I'm streaming. It says I'm live. Oh, here we are. Here we are. I'm here. I'm live. Okay. Well, let me check to make sure the sound is working here. Huh. Strange. Oh, hold on. Is there an odd reverb here?
Hmm.
Okay. Well, hold on. I gotta check this this real quick. Hey, Bib Blob, whoever you are.
Big blob.
Oh, so the sound's coming through the TV, and then it's picking it up through there. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if you just heard that, but
What happened?
there was the little kid walking by. He said, "Uncle,"
Oh.
because like we actually do have like the big limit flame on the riverside. And
Oh, I see.
It looks like a big piece of shit.
Oh, okay.
So a little kid walking by and just said like, "Uncle."
Oh, all right. I think everything's going. I don't know. I don't see anybody in the chat saying how does the audio sound? Does the audio sound okay?
You could be a little bit higher, but otherwise. I mean,
How's this? Is this better?
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I gotta really put my face into the microphone, I guess. All right, that's fine.
I hear you clearly.
Weird. All right, I'll start with the intro. Sure. Welcome to another. Well, let me try it again. Fail. All right. Welcome to another edition of Why Come Japan. I'm your host, Mr. Radri, where I interview creatives inside or outside of Japan. And today on my show is the man, the illustrious Marc. How do you pronounce your last name? Cavazos?
Cavazos.
Cavazos. Thank you.
It's a Spanish name.
The man who beat the 99% conviction rate in Japan, the one, the only. How are you today, Marc?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm doing great.
Yeah? Oh, I guess I should display your picture here. It's Marc's coming us via iPhone from where?
I'm in Asakusa. I'm on the Samita-gawa, or the Samita Riverside right now.
Okay, so he's in his bearings. So for those of you who don't know much about Marc or who this man is, you're originally from Texas, right? Austin?
Yeah, I'm originally from San Antonio, Texas. I went to school in Austin at UT Austin, and then I moved here after I graduated from university.
Okay, and then you eventually got to work at like Interact, right?
I was working at Interact, yeah.
Okay.
So I did ALT work, and then I did later office work for them.
I see. And then you also, from there, you've also like written blogs. Is that right?
I was working as a video game journalist for the magazine HardcoreGamer.com. So not blogging necessarily, but I was doing like reviews for Japanese games, and also I've covered events like Tokyo Game Show and like Blitfest and stuff, all here in Japan.
Okay. So yeah, but this is not the reason why we're having the interview today.
Well, not exactly, no.
Yeah. I got a question in the chat real quick before we get started. Vonheim? I'm not sure how to pronounce this name. Von Vonenheim. It says, "Hey Marc, do you like yandere girls?"
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I got to get these questions out of the way because I don't want to.
I think mental instability is kind of attractive, sure.
All right. Yeah. First off, guys, sorry for the some lag on Marc's end. He's filming from an iPhone, so he's gonna have to deal with it.
AU is pretty fast, though.
Yeah, is it? All right. It was fast. I'm not. I've actually never streamed on my SoftBank phone before, so we'll see. Anyway, let's get to the main thrust of the story. So this is not what you're really known. I mean, I guess the story I think is the most captivating and interesting is you're one of the few people who has beaten the 99% conviction rate in Japan. So let's start at the very beginning. What exactly got you locked up, or what exactly got you into the position you are in?
I mean that is a bit of a long story in itself, but
Right. I remember Sam made a video about it. I
yeah.
mean, I don't want to like cannibalize this interview, but Sam made a whole video about it about a friend of yours who was a
uh,
musician.
yeah. So I had a friend. His name was Sergio. He's from Mexico, and I had met him here in Asakusa a few times. Maybe about I've known him for about 2.5 years, and he he was living in Korea, but he would come to Japan quite often. So he was living and working in Korea, and then he asked if he could stay with me for a week in my apartment when he came next time he came to visit Tokyo. So I said, fine, it's okay. And then when he was staying with me, he asked if he could use my address to receive a package. He said it was going to be a present from a friend in America. He was going to receive some records or some DJ equipment. And he worked as a DJ for fun, so I didn't think it sounded suspicious at all. But what later came in the mail was about half a pound of meth.
Yikes. So what eventually came of that? I mean, what came in the mail is a half a pound. Hold on a second. I'm having some technical difficulties here. I'm having something. Your screen just disappeared for some reason. Hold on. Ah. Jesus Christ. Not doing my live stream. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Guess I gotta type in Skype or something? Give me a second here, Mark. You still there, right? What? Did I lose him? What the hell happened? Ah, oh, dude. Really? No, this is the wrong one. Dude, well, now everybody gets to see my Skype. That was odd. Wow, what happened there? Is everything okay?
Yeah, everything's fine.
Okay, I wonder what happened on that end. I remember maybe if I hit the X button or something.
Yeah,
Odd.
so you disconnected.
Did I disconnect it? Fuck. All right,
Yeah,
well, anyway.
So,
let's...
Anyway, to go back to what I was saying.
Yeah, main thrust of the story, because we're here for the thrusts.
Right. So I had a friend named Sergio. He was visiting me from. He lived and worked in Korea, and he said that when next time he visited Tokyo, he asked if he could stay at my place for a week, and I said it's fine. When he stayed with me, he asked if he could use my address to receive a package from a friend in America. He told me it would contain some music equipment and records. And I said, yeah, it's fine, because he worked as a DJ part-time for fun. So I didn't see anything suspicious about it. But later, when the package came in the mail, it contained about half a pound of meth. So I was arrested under the accusation that I was helping him smuggle illegal contents into Japan.
Yikes. So wait a minute. Let me get... Why did he have a bag of meth sent to him? He was just using it for professional use, or can you not talk about that?
Oh, I can
professional use. Yes, because people use meth professionally. The fuck am I talking about?
He was professional. No. He had another friend who I think was more of the mastermind behind it. And so I know that he had a friend who had asked him to set me up and also ask his other friends, basically feed them a similar story. I think a total of maybe 12 people were arrested, all people which he asked to use their address. What was the ultimate goal? I'm not entirely sure, but it was probably related to at least getting someone to receive something in the mail and then being able to sell it here for a higher profit. At least that's the gist of my understanding of it.
Okay. So it was purely for resale.
For sale, most definitely.
Okay, but you got the short end of the stick, and you're the one who got caught because you put your name on paper because you made it legitimate into the country, right?
That is correct, but that is what my trial, which I ended up going to trial, was about. And since I'm here speaking to you, you know that how things worked out. So, but,
Well, what is it? Is the trial 100% over?
By this Thursday, it will be finalized.
Oh, really?
But the trial was over, yes. But there's a potential that the prosecution can appeal. They actually have less than a week now. So they could appeal, but I don't think they will because it'd be a very risky situation. They lost quite badly.
Huh. Okay, so let's go back to the through line here. So you signed for this package. This is like based on the TKO Sam video, the same one where we were trying to free you for a while. Is So you were put into when they arrested you, when the police came. What did they look like? I mean, how did they arrive?
I had actually received the package and gave it to Sergio a week before, and then it took the police maybe 1 week to then suddenly come to my apartment. They showed up in a van on the morning of October 28th, and they were dressed in plain clothes. And I at first thought it was maybe media or like NHK or something ringing my doorbell. But eventually they wouldn't stop ringing, so eventually I went down to answer. I apologized that I was sleeping, but yeah, I didn't know they were policemen. And in fact, my neighbors were quite freaked out. They were very scared because none of them looked like professional people.
Interesting. Okay. They didn't look like policemen. Is that what you're saying?
They're all in plain clothes.
They were just in regular plain clothes, and they told you to come with them in Japanese.
They asked to go into my apartment, which I said that's fine. And they came in and they said that they had a warrant for my arrest, and I didn't understand what it was for, but I said that I have nothing to hide, so you're free to search my apartment if you want, which they did. They were quite courteous. They actually cleaned my apartment. They cleaned up after themselves. They took their shoes off too in the game club.
Okay, so it's actually very kind of a professional thing in a way. Can I say professional? Can I use that word?
I guess so. I mean, they were civil. They did not barge in. They didn't break my door down. They waited patiently for me to answer the door. They allowed me to lead them in. They took their shoes off. They asked if they could search my place. I said that's fine. And I gave them access to my computer and my phone as well.
Weren't you like a little bit hesitant about all this, about them going through everything?
I didn't have anything to hide, and I figured like maybe it's best not to resist. But
you weren't intimidated by them at all, or?
No.
Okay.
Again, when they said it was something related to a drug charge,
they said that in the beginning. Okay.
They said, and I said I have absolutely nothing to hide. You're free to do whatever you like, but you'll find nothing. And they didn't. So.
Right. And so the next thing you know, you had to get into their van, and they took you to a building.
Yeah, they put me into a van, and I asked them, well, are you related to the Tokyo police, or is this related to Chiba? They said that it was out of the jurisdiction of the Tokyo High Court, but they were with the Chiba Narita police because the package came into the country from Narita.
Oh, okay, I see.
So they drove me an hour out to Narita police station, where then they commenced an interrogation.
Oh, I'm sure that was fun.
Yeah, I guess so. It was interesting. But
how many hours was that?
About 6 hours.
6 hours. Jesus. And I'm sure at this point you're kind of like probably freaking out at this point, yeah?
Mm, no, I never felt. I always felt like everything was going to be okay, because again, I did not have. I didn't feel like I did anything wrong, and I again, I had nothing. I had nothing to hide. So
Right,
half the
right,
questions
exactly.
they asked me, I did not know. I couldn't answer. And if they need evidence, backing the fact that I don't know anything, I told them they're free to go through my stuff, but you'll find nothing.
Right, exactly. So when they I guess what's the word I'm looking for? They processed you into the I guess they just kept you in a cell at first, or they just kept you there for a while?
Um, During their interrogation process, they kept me in a room where I was just monitored by police detectives, and they gave me a 7-Eleven bento and for lunch and dinner. But no, I was basically held there, and it wasn't until later that evening when I was then moved into a holding facility, which was below the police station.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, there's a group of children walking by.
That's some
That's
ASMR
very interesting.
treats there for you, everyone.
Very interesting. But yeah.
Um, okay. So basically, it never came to you. Like, what? When is it that you realize? Oh shit! I'm being arrested or I'm being held.
Um, it was that was what I was very confused about, because I did feel like upon my arrest, I did want to help them. I did want to give them any information to assist them, but it didn't occur to me until maybe even a couple of days into it that they don't care about finding out the truth. All they want is a conviction. So
Right,
it's
and
not
they.
about it's not about having continuing an investigation. But anything you say, they'll try to use against you. Um, so it didn't dawn on me until maybe later, after I'd been put into a cell, that this was a case being made against me. But beforehand, I didn't really understand the circumstances entirely.
Okay, so basically, it was almost kind of like it was a setup to where they're very careful about what it is they said to you.
That's correct. Yeah.
Huh. Wow. Okay. Well, because I mean, when you look on the internet, you look at about like Japan and its conviction rates and everything. You see a lot of how a lot of people are forced to sign false confessions. Like,
Yes, that's correct. So if it's not that they can't force you, but they will try to confuse you about the circumstances of what you're signing and what it means to sign. And a lot of people don't understand the significance of signing a piece of paper. Um, so if you sign anything, it goes down as evidence they can use against you in court. If you don't sign, then you can actually say anything you want, and they cannot legally use it against you.
huh.
But you're not allowed to consult with a lawyer until maybe 48 or 72 hours later. So within the first 72 hours they have of you are very important. They try to get you to say and sign what they want. Once they
Huh.
have it, it's very, very difficult for you to overturn it.
So, was there any part of you that said like, "Don't sign this," or did you read any of it, or how was your
They
process with it?
Because, well, you make a statement, you tell your story, then they read it back to you, but it's not exactly your story. They change words around so that way they can use it against you later. I
Was this
signed the first
verbally, or was this written?
both,
Oh,
both.
okay.
But the
So it's kind of
my
this like
interrogate.
Kafka-esque kind of
It's very Kafka.
interrogation.
I'm a big fan of Kafka, and hence my Skype name. You see, but it's very Kafkaesque. But yes, I did sign the first statement, but there was nothing. There was thankfully nothing written in my statement that was really important, because I couldn't actually even answer. their questions because I didn't know anything. So I got very lucky there. But the
Wow.
following meeting with like the prosecutor was very dangerous. It was incredibly dangerous. If I had signed more than one paper, I may have gone to jail for 10 years.
You may have gotten to jail for 10 years. Is that what you said?
Yes, it is a very great possibility.
Wowzers. Okay. Well, all right. So then they couldn't get a confession out of you for the first day, I imagine. And I imagine they kept holding you in I guess the police station, was it?
Yeah, they hold you in the bottom of the bottom of the police station, like in the basement with other people. So I shared a cell with two other guys.
Oh. What were those people like, if you don't mind me asking?
uh, Very interesting people. I went through several roommates actually. One of them was a homeless man who was mentally ill, and he got arrested on purpose so that way he could get free food and also get the medication that he needed for free. The other guy was a classic old school yakuza, missing a pinky. They were both very nice to me though. They were actually very. I mean, believe it or not, I don't think I would have lasted or maintained my mental fortification without their help. They were very good. They were very good people to me. Good people in general, that's questionable. But I was very surprised that they were very almost like fatherly to me.
Wow. Okay. I mean, the typical image, like, when you think of like prison dramas, like Oz or something, you always think it's like this rough and tough place. But it sounds like they were very humble, even in prison in Japan.
Yeah. In the regular holding cell at the police station, everyone was quite agreeable, very humble, very cooperative. Even the guards would come by and make small talk. Um, I mean, I didn't have problems whatsoever. I thought everyone was actually great. I actually kind of missed them.
Okay. All right. So you got. I'm just kind of going through the process here. So that eventually, I mean, normally how they convict somebody in like America, let's say, is that or when they're holding them and like they need to put them and spend a night in prison, you had to be transferred to Chiba prison proper, right?
um, yes. What happens is when you are arrested, they can hold you in the police station for 23 days in a regular cell.
Oh,
After
so you were in
23
a
days,
regular cell for quite some time.
yeah, with other people for they have 23 days. After 23 days, they have three options. They can let you go, or they can rearrest you for a different charge, or they can then indict you, as in press charges against you, and then you get transferred to the proper prison. So what happened to me was I was actually rearrested. So I was held for 23 days, and I was rearrested and held for another 23 days.
Wait a minute. Why were you rearrested?
Um, they told me that they basically they gave me the same charge, but they just changed some words around. So it's very Kafka because like they have to let you go, like you're leaving the building, and then as you're leaving the building, they then surround you again and they rearrest you for a different charge.
Oh, was this an actual time when you had handcuffs put on you, or you never had
Oh,
handcuffs
they
put
give you
on
all
you?
your stuff back. They take your handcuffs off. You're allowed to start leaving the building.
Oh,
And then as you're leaving the building, then they kind of come around. They're like, hey, you need to come back with us. You've just been rearrested.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, it's very sick. It's very Kafka.
Wow. I imagine that's probably what happened to Ghosn, Carlos
Yes,
Ghosn.
it did happen to him.
If any, for some reference, probably everybody knows who I'm talking about when they say Carlos Ghosn, the former CEO of what was it? Mitsubishi? Which company was it?
Nissan.
Nissan. That's right. Shit, I don't even
Mr.
remember
Gone, who
anymore.
I've met a few times actually. We had the same lawyer.
Wait. What? All right, now I need to hear this story. What happened? You had the same. You saw him there?
Yeah. He came to the lawyer's office, so I met him twice, maybe 3 times. I met his daughter too.
Wow. Okay.
So me and Mr. Gone have the same lawyer. So
Are you allowed to say the lawyer's name?
yeah, his name's Takano Takashi.
Okay. And he was.
He's been on the news quite a bit actually.
Yeah. No, he's been on the news quite a lot.
Yeah,
It was just it was your case and Goen's case at the same time.
Yes, it was. In fact, I was released from jail the same day Mr. Gone was. I don't know if that's coincidental or not, but we were released on the exact same day.
Wow, that's crazy.
And
I mean,
we also went to my lawyer's office on the same day, so that's where I saw him and I got to meet him. And then the media was all surrounding the office actually. So when I went outside, the media was like, "Oh my God, is it gone?" I'm like, "No, it's just me."
so did you get some TV fame there for a little bit?
Maybe for a second, yeah, but yeah.
It's like,
But,
no, wrong
I've
foreigner.
I've been interviewed by a few people now, and so you might see my name in the media in the news a bit later.
I might see your name in the news a little bit later. What do you mean by that?
I know I was in Yahoo News, and I was also in the Chiba newspaper, the Chiba Nippo. New York Times has contacted me, and also some human rights organizations are emailing me, but it takes a bit of time for me to reply. There's a lot of people that want to talk to me now.
Well, yeah, I mean, not many live to talk about the situation you're in. I mean, I've said that like 3 times now in this goddamn interview. But, I mean, that's why I feel like this interview is kind of warranted for that regard. Okay, so, I guess what I really want to know is, so they say they rearrested you, and then they brought you to, that's when they brought you to the prison, right?
No. Again, let me explain real quick again. So when you're arrested, they can hold you for 23 days.
Right.
After 23 days, if they're not satisfied with their interrogation, they can rearrest you, which then restarts the process. It gives them another 23 days to get something out of you. After that, they can either rearrest you again, or they can indict you for something. Which then, once you're indicted, meaning the case is going to trial, that's when they move you into the prison.
I see. So, like, if your case went to trial, that's when they put you in the prison.
So once it's going to trial, they put you into the prison, which I don't know if everyone is put in this position, but I was placed into solitary confinement for a little over 4 months. I think 5 months.
Yowzers.
So I was in the Chiba prison, and I was given my own room, and I was not allowed to contact or talk to anybody else. I just had myself and books.
Huh. Okay. So I am very curious. So before the time when you were put in solitary confinement, this was in Chiba, right?
Yes, it's all in Chiba.
Oh, okay. All of this was in Chiba. All right. So before you were put in the solitary confinement, you had, what was life like there? Was it like a normal police drama, like how you see people in prison all the time? Because I'm trying to like picture what that looks like.
I'm sorry. I'll be more descriptive then.
No. And take your time with this.
No. So when you're held in the bottom of the police station, I mean, everyone. I think there's a total of 9 cells. Each cell holds, I think, 3 people. And yeah, you wake up in the morning. They wake you up, and then you're fed breakfast. Then after that, you're given the option to like rent out some books or a newspaper. And then, so you're given options to kind of leave your cell temporarily to get anything you need. You have a locker where if anyone mails you something, or if you have any extra clothes you want to keep there. You're allowed access to that. Um, Additionally, there's a big shared space where in the morning and the evening, everyone is allowed to go out, sit, brush their teeth, wash their hands, kind of socialize. But for the most part, during the day, you just stay in a cell if you're two roommates, and you can share things, you can share food, you can share magazines, books. Um, it is social, yeah. But there's no. I never saw any violence. I never saw anything that scared me there. I thought it was actually quite. It was actually a little bit of fun. I think. Um, it's
So
more
it's
so
more
that
like Shawshank Redemption than it is like Oz or something.
that's a good comparison. Yeah, I would
Well,
say
I
that.
don't think Shawshank's even that great, but I
Well,
mean,
yeah,
there's
no,
still
no, of course
beatings
not.
in
But
in that movie.
yeah, no, but I never witnessed any violence at all, and everyone was quite tame or very friendly.
I see. So you were allowed to like walk around and not
Oh
just.
yeah, yeah. There you were allowed to walk around. You're allowed to do whatever you want. And then uh, yeah, and then they had the kind of the shared social space outside the cells, which you were allowed to go out to in the morning and the evening.
I see.
So
So how big was it really?
uh, how many tatami? I think that the regular cell was 4 or 5 tatami, and then it had an attached bathroom to it, like an attached toilet.
I see. So like whenever you wanted something like a book or you wanted to
Yeah,
exercise or something, you could just knock on the door and ask to leave
yeah.
or
You call the guard. You call the guard and say, "Hey, I want to go to my locker," or "Hey, I want to like get a book," or "Hey, can I when is exercise time, or can I go out to like outside to do stretching or push-ups?" So um, the regular holding facility is not bad, not so bad.
I
And
see. So it's basically just a tatami mat. You just sit there all day.
yeah,
Okay. I remember reading something or somebody told me, I think it was a couple of friends from my college who got locked up for something stupid, but because they probably deserved it. But anyway, it's a conversation for another day. I heard they keep the lights on all the time there.
yeah. No.
Is that a lie? Okay.
In the holding facility, the first place you go to again for 23 days, no, they turn the lights off. At night they turn all the lights off.
Okay. So that's a
And
myth.
you can even say you can actually specify to the guard how bright you want the light, or you want to turn it off completely.
Huh.
So
That's
you
quite
can,
accommodating.
that's even a request. You can say, well, the light is too bright. Can you turn it down a bit? And they'll be fine with that. And everyone has their own food on. Yeah, it's actually quite comfy, to be honest with you.
Huh, that's interesting.
The food the food the food sucks though. The food is terrible.
Yeah, tell us about the food. Actually, we had somebody in the comments ask about the food. Who was that?
Okay,
Bill
so
asks, "Was the food in jail bad?"
again, in the regular holding cell for the first 23 days, the food sucks. It's just like instant crap and like 7-Eleven bento. In fact, you'll end up eating the same thing repetitively. Like the menu just kind of repeats. So you'll get like atsudon, but I mean you can tell it's like instant crap they're just giving you. But in the regular, like in the actual prison where I was moved later, like the food there is actually quite good. It's actually very good. If I don't know if you have ever worked as an ALT before,
Yeah,
it's
I
quite
have.
similar. It's quite similar to to like the Kyushaku, like the school lunch.
Huh. So like it's one of those things where you um they give you like a paper, then you have to fill it in what it is you want.
Oh, I mean, if you have any allergies or any kind of religious problem, like you don't eat beef or something, then you can tell them ahead of time. Yeah, but otherwise, I mean, everyone gets fed the same thing, but it is It's usually like a lot of food, and it's usually very very well made. Like they have like curry and rice. They have
Well, this was in
miso.
solitary confinement, right?
It's all you can find. Yeah. So you have like miso ramen. They have saru soba. They got and it's actually very good. But the
Okay.
problem is that it's too much food, and you're not moving around. You're not walking around, so it's very easy to gain a lot of weight. So when I was in there, I gained quite a bit of weight, and I'm still losing now.
Oh, really?
Because
Okay.
you don't get to be walking around, running around. You literally can't exercise. So you just sit there and you eat and you read and you blow up. So
Uh,
I had to send. I usually would eat half the portions and then I would send it back.
oh, okay. Wow. So there's a huge portions. There's a lot of food to eat. Um.
But
uh,
you don't get hungry though, as you're not moving around.
Oh, I see. Okay. How was it playing the waiting game? Was it pretty bad playing the waiting game?
The waiting game. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, basically what you're doing when you basically said that you had a bunch of people who didn't dress as police officers who put you into an unmarked van, and
Yeah.
then you're basically told that like you're in the police room. Like I got great words. Um, you're in the room where they interrogate you, and then after that, then they put you in a cell. And at
That's
what
right.
point do you know, oh shit, I'm being locked up or I'm being held?
Oh, that's a good question. I didn't elaborate on that. Because when you're first arrested, they have, I guess, about 72 hours to determine if they're going to proceed with a full blown interrogation, whereupon you will be held for 23 days. So it's not until after you meet the prosecutor that you know that for sure. So they have to decide on that within like 3 days, 72 hours. So that was very stressful because again I was arrested, interrogated by police. Then I said, when do I get to meet? I said, when do I get to meet a lawyer? And they said, well, in 3 days. And I said, oh, and what do I meet the prosecutor tomorrow? And he said, no, there's nothing tomorrow. So I actually had a whole day where there was nothing. I just sat there in a cell, like wondering what was going to happen. Which is why I said that meeting and befriending my cellmates was very not relieving, but it was calming. If I had been alone or I had no one to talk to, I probably would have gone crazy. But it was on the third day when I met the prosecutor. He decided to give me the full blown 23 days. And then
Huh.
after that, that's when well, have to prepare for the worst, or make the best of the situation.
Okay. You were saying earlier that you thought that the prosecutor was really scary? Or did you say that?
Not scary. I thought he was gross as a human being.
Why do you say gross as a human being?
Um,
I mean, I guess like what is it
he,
that
he,
makes you say that?
there are. I mean, even after this situation, I have plenty of respect for police. I think that the gathering of physical evidence for an investigation is fine because that it actually has grounds. That's real. But what prosecutors do is they take that evidence and they weave it into bullshit to use against you. So they try to place words in your mouth, or they try to tell a story that doesn't exist, and then get you to sign on it. So maybe not specifically this prosecutor, but in general, that's what their job is to do. Their job is to get you to indirectly confess to something or unknowingly say something, which then they'll use against you later.
Okay.
Um,
So
so
base
so I find the whole process to be not really about justice at all. It's just about getting a conviction.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, do you know why? Maybe you could answer this. I'm not sure. But do you know why Japan's conviction rate is as high as it is?
Yeah, I mean, after going through this, I realized that it's that I mean, 90% of the people who get convicted it's based on confessions.
Right.
And so you're either tricked into one, you sign a piece of paper unknowingly where they enforce you, but they tricked you into confessing or saying something, or maybe you didn't even say it, they just wrote it down and you still signed on it. So that counts as something, and that happens within the first 23 days. If you can survive that, then they can rearrest you and try again. If you survive that, then you're placed in the solitary confinement, where they just presume you will confess because you're in solitary confinement. I heard 90% of people that are placed in my position do confess. They break.
Right. What is it you think that it is? I mean, besides the people you had in, I guess not just solitary confinement, the people you had in the prison cell with you in the tatami room. What is it that you think got you through the whole process?
I think. Well, I'm not trying to say that I'm a strong person necessarily, but I think that
we're thumbs up for Mark's
well,
humility.
actually, maybe I do deserve it. Maybe I do deserve to be called that. But I would say that linked to Japanese culture itself is that in a society of a lot of conformity, people do. The regular person doesn't understand how to be a free thinker or be independent, especially against authority. And so, yeah, if they're told to sign a paper or told that they cannot leave a room until they sign a paper, they will. And then on top of that, when they're placed in a room by themselves, all alone, they break mentally because they're used to the group mentality. I think what was particularly frustrating about me to the police was that I didn't feel that way. I grew up reading like Franz Kafka and like French existentialism. So if I'm alone, I did not feel lonely.
So you kind of have to base what's that one? Kafka's the trial.
That's the trial.
That was kind of like a prerequisite to being in Japanese.
Oh, most definitely. That's
confinement.
It's my favorite book. So I was the perfect person to go through this.
Wow. Okay.
So that's actually my favorite story. It's great. So I was the perfect person to go through this, I suppose. And they were very frustrated, and they did not know what to do.
Huh. So I'm guessing you and Gon had to go through the same process, and you kind of.
Yes, we did. Gon was held in Tokyo though, but I don't know how different that facility was, but from what I talked to him about and what he said to the newspapers, yeah, he went through the same process.
Okay. I mean, so you said you basically got a lawyer on the third day? That's when you got one?
Right. I was given, since I could not contact they cut you off from all contact. You cannot contact your family or your friends or your employer. But I was given, so I didn't have access to my bank account either. So I had to go for the court-appointed lawyer first. So I met with a court-appointed lawyer, and I mean, I don't know him personally, but I thought he was kind of a joke. He was encouraging me to just confess, get it over with.
Huh. So
I told him my story, and he said, like, well, why didn't you ask more questions about the package? Why didn't you get a picture? Why did you trust somebody from Mexico? Why did you I thought it was ridiculous, and he was actually encouraging me just to give up or to tell the truth. And I said, I don't
shitty
know.
lawyer. Well, good thing you got rid of him. Oh God.
Well, and eventually, eventually he met with Sam. He talked to my parents, and they were very frustrated with him. They both Sam and my parents decided that I needed a new lawyer. But I don't have much experience of other lawyers, but from what I can understand, is that is quite common. They don't want to. They already maybe lawyers just kind of accept defeat. They realize that there isn't any accuracy conviction rate, that they're not going to win, and they're getting paid regardless. So
So wait a minute. What was the celebrity lawyer's name again? I forgot. Takano, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. His name is Takano Takashi.
Okay, that's it. Yes.
Whereas Takano Sensei is very different. Takano Sensei actually hates the system. He's actually a full-blown activist against the Japanese justice system. Uh, so regardless of if it may be a losing battle or not, he likes to stick it to them, and he has written several articles, and he is quite famous because he is the one that just encourages people to stand up for their rights, no matter what the percent chances are. It doesn't matter, and he does his job. Um, it's very sad though that in this country you have to pay you have to pay a lot of money to actually get a lawyer that does his job.
Huh. So I don't, if you don't want to talk about this, you don't have to. But um, give us a ballpark. How much does normally like a good lawyer in Japan kind of cost?
Um, I would say probably maybe 50,000 for a full blown case like this. Probably about 50,000.
Okay, I
Fifty thousand
see.
dollars American. $50,000 American.
Yeah, if anybody remembers TKO Sam, a friend of this channel, partner of the show, he really tried to help out Mark by starting a GoFundMe page, and I
I
imagine
received I received a little bit over $7,000 from that.
thank you
And
guys who helped out. So just
oh
to
yes,
say
yeah,
that.
thank you very much, everyone who did help out. That's what's been keeping me afloat for these past few months since I've been out of jail, actually. So, since I was not allowed to work or do anything either until now. So that's what's kept me alive.
Yeah, so basically you're not allowed to even use a phone while you're in prison, right? Or not, I guess
No,
jail or where?
of course not. But I was released on bail back in April, and then the terms of the bail was I'm not allowed to use any kind of device linked to the internet that is not registered through my lawyer.
Okay, so what about this that we're doing right now?
Oh no, but I'm innocent though. Like the trial's over.
Oh, okay. So like
So
it's pretty much
like
finalized by this Thursday?
this Thursday it'll be finalized. But as of now, as of like a week ago, I was given not guilty, and now I have all my rights back.
Okay. Well
And
that's
then
good to know.
they can never take them away now. So
Okay. Okay, so we have a few
so
questions.
no,
I've been
this is fine. This is fine, of course.
okay, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've had to, actually there's a few people in the chat were like, "Is it okay for you to be doing this?" They're like freaking
Oh
out a little bit.
there's nothing wrong with it at all. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to
typically,
reassure them that like, yeah, this is perfectly okay. I mean, I don't think Mark would do this if he couldn't. But I
and then
mean,
just to
you
be
were
sure,
pretty.
of course,
Not
I
many
asked my
people
too.
live. What's that? I'm sorry. I don't mean to talk
No,
over
I
you.
asked my lawyer too, just to be, obsessive compulsive there. But yeah, my lawyer said, yeah, you need to talk about it as much as possible.
Oh, okay.
My lawyer
Interesting.
says, yes, please do talk about it as much as possible, and please name drop as much as you want. So
That's interesting. Okay, I did not know that. I've been kind of neglecting the chat here. They've been asking a couple of questions. I appreciate the people taking their time to ask some questions. Um,
yeah,
uh, one question here was what was I think it was from Lone Wolf. I mean, I was gonna ask this question a little later. Actually, I'm gonna save this one to the end. Um, it says, was there a private toilet or an open toilet in the middle of the cell? From
oh,
Bill, by the way. Thank you, Bill, for
okay,
your question.
okay, private. Yeah, like so, like in the regular jail, in the police station. I mean, you share the cell with three people, but there is like a proper bathroom. It's walled as a door, and you can go in there and you can use it, and you have privacy. Um, when you're in the solitary confinement in the actual prison, um, there is always somebody watching you, but you have you have a toilet in the same room. So when you're in solitary confinement, it's like having a little like a miniature apartment. So you have a shelf, you have a food on, and you have a toilet in the back of the room. And I mean, you don't have there's no public toilet. No.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
But I
But
mean,
you're
is it private? Well, they're always watching you, but I mean, yes, it is your toilet basically. Yeah.
when you say they're always watching you, does that mean like through a camera or like there's an actual person watching
Oh no,
you?
there's a person making the rounds constantly.
Okay, I mean like
They have like maybe 3-4 sentries on the floor, like just circling around.
okay. So solitary confinement was basically, because I the way I picture it is it's just a room, but you said it was like a small apartment, like a 1K or something.
Like a 1R. It's a 1R.
A one
I mean,
R.
I mean,
Okay.
you can't cook there or anything, but I mean, you have a shelf, you have a sink, you have a toilet, you have food on, you have baskets, you have a table, you have a desk. But the problem is you're not allowed to move around. You're just supposed to sit there. And you can't,
Okay.
and they don't allow you to exercise or do push-ups or sit-ups. You just have to sit there. I mean, of course, you can stand up and use the toilet, but they don't want you walking around or doing anything physical.
They literally just want you to sit there into nothing.
Yeah, just sit there. Of course, I mean, around the afternoon, you're allowed to take a nap. You can take the food on out. You can lay down. But I mean, you're not allowed to do anything physical. Hence why like you don't get hungry, and hence why like it's too much food. It's like you just get fat.
Huh. You
Uh,
can you read at all or no?
of course, you can read, and then I appreciate everyone who sent me manga and books. I mean, I read everything everyone sent. You can also order things. They have a grocery store you can order from.
Okay. You can order stuff from the grocery store. Okay.
Yeah, they give you a menu of stuff you can order from the grocery store. So you can order melon pan. You can order you can order a Rubik's cube. In fact, you can order watercolors. You can order pencils. You can order paper.
So you could like make art when you're in prison, just like in the movies.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So what did you do most of the time? Did you make art? Did you read books? I mean, you said you read some manga. What manga got you through?
I read everything everyone sent me. Yeah. And then so yeah, no, people sent me a lot of books. I mean, I read like I got like I read all of like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I read all of like One Piece. I caught up on pretty much every major manga. And then I was ordering Shonen Jump and Young Jump in the mail every week.
Oh, okay. I see. Well, it doesn't sound all that bad. I mean, you really use your phone, but I guess that's
There's no
I guess
internet
is
or
what you'd
phone.
expect from prison.
There's no internet or phone, but I mean, and I think maybe a person who's really social or depends on other people would go crazy. But it was I got to know myself a lot, and it was a nice. I mean, not nice, but it was a vacation from society. But yeah, there's not much. I mean, you exist in your own mind, or you exist through what you're reading. There's no longer anything beyond that.
So you almost in a way you kind of lose your sense of self, would you say?
I would maybe, or maybe you only have yourself. So you have to be comfortable with yourself. And if there's a positive thing to take from this situation, I don't think I'm ever going to doubt myself or think or belittle myself ever again.
Right, right. Well, it sounds like yeah.
I mean, I used to have like a bit of depression before I was arrested, but at this point, I don't think I'm ever gonna doubt myself again. I mean, I think I'm pretty badass. So
You mean just for beating the conviction rate?
yes, and well, I mean, you make it sound so simple, but I mean, there's a lot of factors that played into this, and of course.
Okay. Well, can you discuss some of those factors or?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I was being subjected to 6 hours of interrogation every day.
Every day?
Every day. I was not allowed to contact anyone I knew, and I did not know. I didn't know what they thought. I had a useless lawyer for about a month or 2 months, who was encouraging me to confess. I had asshole prosecutors and police dogs breathing down my neck every day, telling me to sign.
Jesus. So
And
that
again,
probably got really annoying.
and then again, like no exercise whatsoever. Um, I mean, but on top of that, yeah, I'm placed in a situation where I got to know myself very well, and then just the factor of there being a 99% conviction rate. That
You knew.
sounds.
Sorry to interrupt, but you knew about the 99% conviction rate going in, right?
Yes, it did.
Would you say that was something that really helped you endure the process of it?
Again, I knew that the only way I'd have a chance is if I just stayed strong, and because again, it comes to the fact that 90% of people confess, 90% of people break. So as long as it didn't break, I had a chance. So
Okay.
that was a way of thinking.
Okay. Yeah, sorry to ask questions that are like circular answers back to the beginning, but
But um, but the other factors that we have that may have like changed, that may have influenced me becoming the 1% are that I mean I am American. I've been here for 9 years. I've never been arrested or committed a crime in my life. Um, and again, this is a very unusual situation for them. Where like I'm not a criminal, and like there's no real hard evidence on me at all. And then the idea of convicting just some American dork like me was probably made them feel unethical to begin with, and a little bit strange that he was even going to court.
right.
So I would say that everyone in that courtroom knew that it was bullshit, and like maybe didn't even believe in what they were doing. On top of that, again, like being an American who speaks Japanese, who's lived here for 9 years, it was a very difficult situation for them to handle, and especially that I didn't break, that I didn't confess, and me coming from maybe an American background definitely applied to me not conforming and confessing to anything.
Right, right. Um, I guess my next question here is somebody in the chat asks. I think it was Bill. Who was it that asked this? Sorry, I'm trying to go through here. Oh, it was Bill. No. I'm wrong. It's by Uzi Nata. Uzi Nata. I don't know who this is, but
Uzi Nata, okay.
yeah, Uzi Nata asks, was the interrogation in English or Japanese? I'm guessing everything was in Japanese.
Um, it was both. It was both.
It was in both. Okay, because I
Because
mean,
I had demanded a translator, but the translator they gave me was useless. He actually was maybe even trying to get me convicted. Because so like when they start the interrogation, yeah, they give you can ask for a translator. So they gave me some guy who was like an Indian dude, but he wasn't a native speaker of Japanese or English.
right.
Uh, after 6 hours of interrogation, I'm getting very annoyed and very upset. Where they said like, well, see, like, didn't you must have known. You must have known there was legal products or illegal contents in the package. And I just started like, I kind of laughed and I said, yeah, sure, as in sarcasm.
Wow.
And then the translator translated it as "sono tori desu, machigai nai,"
What?
meaning absolutely, there is no mistaking it. And I said, wait, I didn't fucking say that. That's bullshit. Like that's fucking bullshit, and you know it.
Wow. So,
And
like,
then
basically, you kind of had to fire your translator in a way.
and I was like, no. And then the prosecutor said, well, I already wrote it down. Haha. And I'm like, that's why I'm not signing that shit. So like that was bullshit. Like you both know that was bullshit. I did not say sonatori desu machigai. I did not say that. And I
Yikes.
was like, like get this guy the fuck out of me.
Wow. Okay.
So there was quite a bit of frustration there, and there was quite a bit of of things that got lost in translation, which we actually had to use in court as evidence for me. Thankfully, all the interviews were recorded on video.
Wow. So they record every interview or every interrogation basically at
Right.
the police station.
So very thankfully, it was recorded on video. If it had not been recorded on video, then I may have gone to prison.
Oh, okay. I see.
So the fact that it was recorded on video also saved me and played a very important factor in me winning the case. Because if it hadn't been recorded, then the judge would just be able to read the written report where I had said, "Sono authorities, what you going on?"
Oh, jeez. Well, you
got
lucky during this time. This is before deep fakes are gonna like ruin our lives. So.
Jesus, yeah, it's not. Oh man.
Yeah, you went to prison at the right time.
At the right time.
Before like they deep fake everything, you can conviction rate up to 100% instead.
It's getting dark out here, man. Maybe I'm moving into the light. Hold on.
Yeah. I guess it's towards the end of the day here in Japan.
Finish my beer and I'll move into the light for you in a minute.
A question from the chat. Von Weinheim asks, Von Weinenheim? I may be pronouncing that wrong. It says, is drop the soap a thing in Japan? I don't think you have showers, right? How do you bathe there?
Oh, no. Because your bath time, your shower time is twice a week, and it's private.
That's the one thing that is private. Okay.
Well, again, like when you're in the jail or the prison, I mean, you don't get the opportunity to talk to anybody. I mean, you're in solitary constantly. Even exercise time, which is maybe like 10 minutes a week, where where they lead you out to when they lead you outside and I guess let you do jumping jacks for 10 minutes, like that's still like in a privatized cell. So when you shower, it's in a privatized cell.
Okay. Got another question from the chat. Kathy Tennyson asks, "Are you going to write a book about this experience?"
I've been encouraged to by my lawyer and also by Sam and friends. I think I would like to, but I need some time to digest it. And I'm still getting used to life again. But after I have some time to think about things, and I think I will. Give me a year, and I think I'll start.
Okay. Let's see here. Also, Bill from the chat says, Mark. He says, Mark, the government assigned a lawyer wanted Mark to commit the crime he didn't do. Is that legal? I imagine it is. The phrasing of this question's a little weird.
I mean, what you say between your lawyer and you is your own business, of course. But it was maybe within his best interest to get it over with soon because he didn't want to do any actual work. So is that legal or not? I mean, I think it's legal, yeah. But considering the circumstances and considering that he was getting paid regardless, he probably just didn't want to put any actual work into it.
Right. Oh, okay. So I want to go back to this question Lone Wolf asks. He asked eventually, he said, what court were you acquitted from? Lower, high, or Supreme Court?
This was the Chiba City District Court, so it was the lower form.
Okay. So basically, when did you know, like, oh man, I'm finally getting out?
From jail
from jail, I guess.
Or acquitted.
When did you know you were going to make bail? I guess is a better question.
Let me see. Because we had applied for bail maybe 3 times, and it was maybe on the 3rd time that my lawyer really went the full mile and said that, well, we're gonna get it this time. But then, and my lawyer said that he would visit me on let's see. My lawyer said he would visit me on April 23rd. But then April 23rd came, and he didn't show up. And so I thought that we had missed the bail or we had failed. And I got very upset. But then on the 25th, when I was in bed, laying in my futon in my boxers, suddenly the jail cell opened, and the guard said, "Okay, it's time to go home." And so it was very bizarre because these are people that had never really been nice to me, but suddenly the whole atmosphere changed. Suddenly the jail cell opened, and it was like the ending of like a video game or something, where
It was just like really unexpected, right?
It was the ending of like a play. When suddenly oh, okay, the game's over, or the act is over.
Congratulations, you win. Freedom.
Yeah, like you won the game, and they opened the cell up, and then suddenly these people who had always been dicks to me became nice, and
that is really bizarre.
And then they helped me move all my stuff out of my cell, and then I was just let out into the open again. And it was very, very bewildering.
Huh.
As I didn't have a cell phone or a guide card or anything, so I felt really, really, again, I was still unprotected. And then I walked to the station, and then one of my friends was there waiting for me, and I had no idea he was going to be there or not.
Oh, well, that's nice of your friend.
I had no idea anyone was going to be seeing me at the station, but he was there.
Huh.
How was your... Hey, welcome back. I brought you a beer. But no, I had no idea what was going to happen. I didn't even know where I was or what was happening.
I see.
Yeah. So.
Do you still feel any little bit paranoid from the experience?
Not really, no.
Wow. Okay. Well, you got balls of steel.
I feel fine. Because it'd be a waste of money for them to continue an investigation on anything related to me. I mean, I already embarrassed them thoroughly, and I mean, they know it was all bullshit. I mean, Japan is a bureaucracy, so it's not. I don't expect anything to come my way.
I see. So whatever happened to your friend? What was his name? Sergio was his name?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard back from him, or?
I have all the evidence files that related to him and everything he signed. He admitted to lying to me. He admitted that.
Wait a minute. He admitted to lying to you, and this is through Facebook chat or something?
No. I have his evidence files.
Oh, okay.
So I have all the evidence files related to him, and so he admitted to lying to me and he signed on a prosecutor's report saying that he did that I was not at all involved and that I didn't know anything. But the thing is that in Japan, even if he does that, they don't care. That doesn't exonerate me. They want something on me anyway. So even though they know that I was used, they still want to find something to get you on. So my charges, the charges I was indicted for were quite literally they said, "We think that you thought there was something suspicious."
Okay.
And I said, "Well, what the fuck does that mean?" They're like, "Well, they think that if you had a little bit of a suspicion that it was crystal meth, then you still deserve to go to jail." And I was like, "Yeah, but what's my motivation? What was my intent?" And that's why the whole case was stupid, and that's why I won. So, because how can they prove what I was thinking?
Yeah, right.
How can they tell me what I was thinking? It almost doesn't even make sense. It's very silly. So it's a losing case, and this also explains why the prosecutor involved in the case changed 4 times. Because nobody.
So your prosecutor changed basically 4 times your entire stint there.
Right. But nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted to take a loss or a potential loss. They were scared.
Oh, wow. So what happens do you know what happens if a prosecutor takes a loss?
Somebody gets fired.
Oh, so basically somebody got to get fired because of you.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing.
And
Huh.
then I'm owed a lot of money for compensation. So that's all taxpayer money that goes to me because somebody made a terrible mistake. So it looks very, very bad.
Okay, I see.
So the original prosecutor, the gross asshole, he'll feel the backlash of that. And unfortunately, the very unfortunate prosecutor that had to take my case in the end, I don't know. I actually kind of feel bad for him. So, oh well.
Why do you feel bad for him?
He didn't want to take it, but he was forced to, and so he had to do his job, but it was a
Oh,
losing battle
okay.
all the time. So,
I see.
but
Huh.
still, I mean, maybe he shouldn't have been a prosecutor.
I see. So, another question about Gone. How much interaction did you actually have with him?
Very little. I, I I got to see him at the office, and I said hello. I said hello, Mr. Gone, and I talked to him for just a couple minutes, a couple seconds, I guess. But I saw him 3 times. The last time he went there, he was with his daughter. His daughter came to Japan to visit him, and they came to the Takano's office.
Oh, I see. Okay. But basically, you didn't have like a. How did he seem? Did he seem like in good health? Did he seem sick? Did he? I'm kind of interested on his state or his spirits at that moment.
Oh no, he looked healthy now. He looked all right. Um, when I first met him, he looked a bit thin. Maybe he had not been eating properly, but the last time I saw him, he looked okay. He looked healthy.
I see. Okay. Um. So some more questions in the chat. Von Vonheim asks, what kind of stuff they have in the commissary and how much it costs.
In the where?
I guess commissary. I guess what he means is how. Like I think you said earlier is just that it was just basically you get stuff from like a supermarket, right?
Okay, yeah. Like, they have a lot of things. You can order clothes, you can order shoes, you can
Fuck.
order mirrors, you can order color pencils, paper, envelopes.
Screen just went dead. Keep going. Sorry, I was having some technical issues. Keep going.
You can order chocolate. You can order cookies. You can order spam. You can order cold cuts. You can order. I think you can order like canned goods, like canned tuna, saba.
Okay, I see.
It actually is quite a big variety, but
Okay, so let me ask you this. This is my question, not something from the chat, but um, actually, one thing how is it like getting work after all this whole experience?
um, well, my visa's fine. My visa, I mean, I'm not guilty, so my visa should be able to be renewed. And if there is any problem, then I guess I'll lawyer up again. But my old company, Interact, said that I'm welcome to come back whenever I want. So,
Wow. Okay.
also, like another place that was working part time at, they'd love to have me back. So, everyone's been very supportive. Even my employer, who I may have expected them to distance themselves from me, they actually feel perfectly fine with me coming back.
Well, that's great. I'm glad you had a happy ending out of all this.
Yeah, so everything's
Well,
getting
so
back to
far
normal.
anyway.
We'll find out Thursday.
So remind me again, what is it that's happening Thursday?
I'm sorry. So by the prosecution has an option to appeal. So if they appealed, then the case would be taken to the Tokyo High Court. So we'd have to do it again, or I have to fight them again. But they have until Thursday to do that. And if they don't do it by Thursday, then I win, like completely. And then I get a bunch, and then they have to pay me a bunch of money.
Really? Like, how much money are we talking about? I mean, if you don't want to disclose it, you don't have to.
I'll just say that I think they owe me 14,000 yen per day I was in jail. So 14,000 yen times 6 months. Then they owe me for the time I was not working. So that's my 6 months of my salary. And then they owe me for my legal fees.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, I mean, I'm not sure what the exact payment will be, but I mean, we're looking at potentially maybe $100,000.
I see. How certain is it that you think you're going to win this?
My lawyer said that it's very, very unlikely that they're going to appeal.
Oh, okay. I see.
Because they lost very, very badly.
Right. Well,
Very
me ask you. Let me ask you this: do you know anything about the whole Gon procedure? He's still in prison, right?
No, he's out.
Oh, he's out again. Okay, because I know they rearrested him again.
They rearrested him, but then he was released again. He was released on the same day I was.
Oh, really?
On April 25th. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he's kind of a free man, but his situation's a lot different than yours.
He's on bail, but his terms for bail are a lot more restrictive. Like I don't think he's allowed to see his wife or.
Like I think he's under house arrest or something. I think it was something I read.
Yeah. I don't know. He can go to his lawyer's office. I mean, same lawyer as me, of course, but maybe he cannot go out and walk around.
I see.
He has to be monitored or something.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this: how are you on your battery life in your phone? Because I know you're streaming through your phone.
I'm at 19%, so I might go home and pick up the battery charger.
Oh, okay. I guess I've been kind of neglecting the chat here too. Some of these questions we kind of already answered. I guess if you want to answer this, you can. It says, "Do you have any religious beliefs that helped you through your experience, Mark?" This is a comment from Kathy Tennyson.
I'm an atheist, so no. But like I said earlier, I'm a big like existential person who believes in existentialism. So that helped quite a bit. Like a lot of like the Friedrich Nietzsche and Jean Paul Sartre and Franz Kafka I read when I was younger.
Okay, I see. Well, that was quite the journey. I wasn't expecting all of this. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to talk about some of this. Is there anything else you want to say before we pretty much wrap things up for today?
Don't sign anything. If you're arrested, don't sign anything.
All right.
And realize that it's your right to not sign any papers that are given to you. Do not sign. And don't let them break you. I guess.
So live strong, live hard. Live free or die hard.
Do not sign anything. Do not sign. If
All
you're
right.
ever arrested in Japan, do not sign anything.
All right.
And never ever trust the prosecutor. Never ever.
That's some. Actually, here's something I wanted to ask you. Is there anybody else out there that you know of who's beaten the conviction rate besides you and Gon?
Anyone else I know?
Yeah.
Not personally, no.
Okay. All right.
I would like to meet them.
I see.
But I have met other people that have been arrested though, that have gone to jail, and I've talked to them. I've met with Yakuza here, and talking to them now is very interesting, as we have a lot to relate about.
Here's a fun question in the chat. Did you learn any prison slang, Mark?
Yeah, I learned that. Actually, that's funny. Because I didn't actually know the correct word for meth. Before I was arrested, I actually just saw it. I saw the word used in movies, as they call it. The slang for meth is like shabu.
Right. You're right. I knew
And
that too.
but I didn't know what it was actually called. So like when I was in the jail cell, I kept calling it Shabu, and everyone, the Yakuza roommates were like, "No, like stop calling it that. You're incriminating yourself because like only like gangsters say that."
Huh.
It's like, oh, I was like, what is it really called? And he's like, oh, it's called like Hakusezai. That's like the real like proper term for it. But stop saying Shabu. I said, oh, okay, oh, sorry, whoops.
Hakusezai.
Yeah, it's called Hakusezai. But like, only like actually like shady people say the word chef.
Huh. Well,
Only like,
thank
gangsters
you,
and people
thank
on the
you,
street.
American movies or Japanese movies for ruining our life.
Thanks, Beat Takeshi.
Yeah. Thank you, Pete Takeshi.
Thanks, Beat Takeshi, for trying to sabotage my life there.
Yeah.
But
All
yeah,
right then. That's pretty much everything that wraps it up.
oh, okay.
I want to thank you for being on the podcast. If you're listening to this, I don't know. What are you supposed to do at end of podcasts? You're supposed to say who's next in the show or something. I'm not sure. There's nobody next on the show because I'm still trying to schedule people for the next episode. Um, if you have any other questions for Mark, I guess are you gonna take questions from randos or no?
Yeah, sure. That's no problem.
No, I mean like if they want to randomly message you, where should they
Yeah, that's cool.
message you?
That's fine.
I mean, it's like they're like a platform like Facebook or Twitter.
You can hit me up on Instagram actually if you want.
Okay, I'll link your
I'm fine with
Instagram
any.
below.
My Instagram is Super Famicom. So I
Just
actually am the Super Famicom.
Super Famicom. Okay.
Yeah, I actually am Super Famicom. So
All right then. Well,
you're welcome to. Anyone's welcome to direct message me any questions they want.
okay, yeah. So, even like what is it? Russian spam bots, right?
Oh yeah, the more the merrier.
Yeah. Big Blob asks, would Mark care to comment on his Kevin Bacon allegations?
What?
I don't know. There's a bunch of like, I love DQ Sam sometimes, but he does have a lot of people who write really weird comments on these videos. But I don't know. That's the kind of the beauty of the internet is being inside of a weird bubble.
Mm. Oh, I think it's cool. It's fun. I mean,
Yeah.
I hung out with a bunch of 4chan kids the other day.
Yeah. All right then. Until then, I'm Radri and
I'm Mark.
Yeah, and then I'll see you again on this show, whenever that'll be. See you guys.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.